So if you don't know who LowTierGOD is, chances are you've never heard the crackling of thunder along with the extended invitation for you to end your own pathetic existence on this living plane.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen and ozone layer that's covered up so that we can breathe inside this blue trapped bubble. Because what are you here for? To worship me? Kill you!
Because if you haven't seen that clip, the person extending that invitation is LowTierGOD, or Dalian Sparrow, previously known as one of the most toxic people on the internet with such a big following and support, while seemingly not giving a single crumb of care to what people think of them, even his own fans, the people that are supporting him, as he essentially treats them like an emotional fleshlight to relieve his own anger he was experiencing from the games he was playing.
Have you ever tried dating a man? I mean, the closest I've ever been to dating a man is when I came over and for some reason your mom chopped all her hair off. And for some reason she still looked like a dude.
LowTierGOD is a controversial streamer, but one that has an interesting story with quite a few turns and recoveries. And I wanted to talk about him today because he has changed significantly since his blow up in 2021 with his cult classic meme.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should love yourself now. Yes, you should. Because I do.
But despite that blow up, a lot of allegations came along with it in later years. However, it's up to you to decide by the end of the video if this dramatic change in current times since his blow up was for the better, or he's dramatically worse. But without further ado, who is LowTierGOD?
How many accounts do I need? About as much as your mom needs to suck.
LowTierGOD started YouTube all the way back in 2006, a time when most of you hadn't even been conceived yet, and vocally speaking about the concept of skibbity toilet would have landed you in a padded cell and probably a round of lobotomies. LowTierGOD got his name from the fact he only plays characters in fighting games that are vastly unpopular or require you to ascertain a certain level of skill to play them successfully. But he started actually posting in 2013, the golden years of YouTube, but his channel would be banned, and any other channel he's made in 2023 for ban evasion and just overall hateful conduct, something that was even present in his first video. As one of his first ever videos is talking about Boogie2298 and how disgusted he is with his overall appearance and the fact he keeps getting videos of him suggested to him.
This is a fucking video to some fat on YouTube named Boogie2988. Now, I'm tired of this fat popping up in all my search engines when I'm looking for a workout video.
But the main reason people know about LowTierGOD and watch his stuff is his streams, where for some time he was banned off the main platforms like Twitch and YouTube, but has found his home again on Twitch, streaming quite regularly, mainly fighting games which he's known for. Games like Super Smash, Tekken and Street Fighter, starting streaming around 2016, but LowTierGOD was known years before his streams as someone with no filter and every insult imaginable being viable for the conversation. His main weapon for these conversations being your mother, which can be provoked or prompted from beating him fairly in any of the aforementioned games, or sometimes even giving him support in his chat, which triggers the event which is him vocalizing an extended anecdote about how he destroyed or completely mutilated your mother's ovaries.
I will quit the game. I'm gonna quit the game when your mom stops coming up with weird guru and sorcery techniques when she's sucking on my every time I go over. She got new weird guru and techniques that she's doing on my where she's playing the flute with it and doing sorcery. She got to the point where she sucks my so good. She just starts doing this. And I'm not even getting head from her no more. Like, she has souls coming from the dead that give the best head from the beginning of time to suck me up. And I'm just sitting there like,
Now, it's because of this behaviour he's known as a lolcow, a person milked for laughs. Because especially in his past, it was easy to provoke him. And with such an inflated ego, it makes for good content and a good watching experience for those people that love watching lolcows. However, interestingly enough, something else that provokes him is his age. Not to give this man a full sloppy rimjob special, but looking at him you'd guess at least late 20s. But in fact, he's a bit older. Now, he doesn't like talking about his age every time it comes up, he dodges the question, and he doesn't give a straightforward or defined answer.
Oh my
how
god.
old is this nigga, bro?
Nigga, I play fighting games, bro.
Bro, are you playing or not, bro?
38?
38?
Nigga, I'm not 38.
God damn!
Wait, you like 30 though, right?
But when people found legal documents he was involved in, it was discovered he may be in his early 30s or late 30s, because there is a lot of contradicting information out there. Now, with his ego and behaviour, he's had his fair share of controversies, especially early on, with most people assigning the development of this behaviour down to his father not being very much active in his life, to the point where he changed his second name because he wanted nothing to do with his father. But as said, this behaviour has led to multiple controversies and a plethora of bans on platforms and in-person events.
Human being, worthless piece of specimen. He could put whatever the fuck he wants. No one gives a fuck about no goddamn broadly legs.
Now, even though LowTierGOD is very articulate with his words, to the point where it's almost like Shakespeare and a NASA scientist combine their minds together to create a string of words, almost like a symphony, just to call your mother a whore. But one thing he isn't good at is restraint when expressing said sentences, especially when he vocalizes them and it has an AoE effect. Because not only is he going to make fun of the person he just lost to in a game, he'll go after things like your race and sexual preference. This sometimes stoops all the way down to death threats or the promise of physical assault, either said in person, over Twitter, or in their personal email.
I have often got many hate mail from him with a lot of slurs, and then at the end of it, after I proceed to 5-0 him, he asks me for advice. Yeah, so it's friends.
And even in one event where he lost to a disabled streamer called Brally Legs, making fun of the fact he doesn't have legs that work.
Once, no one gives a fuck about no goddamn broadly legs. Stop even saying legs. Just call. Why even call them broadly? The fuck out of here. That's a disgrace to DBZ. Give a fuck about this ugly slobbering ass motherfucker.
And it's because of this behaviour he's been banned from almost all tournaments and any event relating to a fighting game. But surprisingly enough, it's because of this behaviour he actually became very popular. Probably not in the way he intended. The most popular being a clip where he talks his shit and then proceeds to get his ass handed to him. This resulted in millions of views and trolls actively going out their way to clip him raging. Something at the time he hated and would try to take down with copyright unsuccessfully because he simply thought they were stealing his content.
We will see how long YouTube takes to remove that video. Their dude is just obsessed with stealing my shit. Like, this nigga keeps doing counterclaims and all types of shit.
But in fact, they were fueling his career. Something he had wanted for a while. From the early days of YouTube where he was posting skits, where he was posting videos explaining how other content creators don't deserve their following because they don't put as much work into it as he does. A frustration fueled by his hard life and hunger to be a content creator. Something encapsulated in his video series, The Critical Times, going into detail about his life and how he doesn't want to work this 9 to 5 the rest of his life.
Guys, I live paycheck to paycheck. I'll show you guys how much my check was later, but just know that every time I get paid, it's going to another CEO.
And how he doesn't want to die a nobody. And you can definitely see his passion for content creation throughout this series. And watching some of the videos, it's like he's fighting for his life. He doesn't want to be where he's at. He knows he's doing stuff that he's not passionate about, working that 9 to 5, but he's adamant he's going to succeed. And it would be great if it just ended there. Someone that was fighting to make their dreams come true, but unfortunately that's not where the conclusion was. Because he was so hungry for this to work out, he wanted to protect what he already had in the worst way possible. He essentially thought people clipping his streams were stealing from him, and were trolls only trying to advertise him in a bad light, which would lead to a series of lapses in judgment. He would get these videos removed via copyright, and he wouldn't just stop at the people clipping him. Documentaries were made about LowTierGOD even before his hit meme, going into depth about his life and his controversies and his overall conduct. Him assuming this was an attack on his privacy and legacy would go on to make a great error in judgment, much like choosing the wrong dialogue option in any Bethesda game.
You wanna make my cock explode now?
And he would choose to remove the documentary videos about him, but due to the fact YouTube's copyright system is so good and so secure, he was also provided with their full names and even sometimes their addresses. And at this point, he thought he had been doxed himself. All his personal information was talked about in these videos and his past. So he thought, in his infinite wisdom, it was fair game. One of these unfortunate souls, called Joon The King, made a 28-minute video about LowTierGOD 5 years ago and then proceeded to get doxed by LowTierGOD because YouTube provided all of his details, to the point where LowTierGOD sent a picture of his house and advertised it in his Discord.
Even to the nigga's picture, the guy I showed his house on fucking on the stream and was roasting his house. Listen, if you're watching my stream, you probably still gonna hate me and I don't give a fuck. But if you're watching my stream and it really pissed you off and fucked with you that I Google Maps the crib, that was anybody's house. I don't know if it was yours or what. Sorry, my nigga. I felt like, you know, you dropped the videos and, you know, just rebuttal.
He also promised to involve him in litigation, to the fact that he was trying to defame him in a way. But as of 2022, the harassment has stopped altogether. Now, the clippers never really stopped, despite copyright infringement by LowTierGOD, and him actually threatening his fanbase to help remove these clip channels, or he would stream with no mic and no face cam. But that did not deter the clippers, as they essentially won in the end, with videos being posted online like him being beaten by a 14-year-old and then actually rage quitting. But one thing about LowTierGOD in the past was it's actually very easy to predict his behaviour, to the point where people crafted flowcharts to predict his excuse and reaction after losing games, and how he would ban anyone in the chat that would disagree with him or actually beat him at the game, no matter how long you were subscribed to him for or how much money you've given him. But one thing you couldn't predict is actually how overwhelmingly racist he was in the past, even to the point where he crafted his own dictionary and reference table to create new slurs to refer to other races.
And we get to see what he looked like, a straight up Balrog. Yeah, that was him. Black. We gonna ban you. Ape. Look at that. You give us an inch and they take a yard. Why the f would your parents name you the most Hispanic name on the planet? That name fits every stereotype of a Mexican.
Many being towards those who were Hispanic, and a heavy hatred towards those who were black. But due to the fact these words are only used within his community and only him and his community knew about them, these transgressions would seemingly go unnoticed. And even to this day, within his community, some of that vocabulary is still being used. There was also an instance where he was being transphobic after losing a game to a content creator called Sarah Blast.
Fat nigga. That's exactly why I got this dude blacklisted. He ain't trans, he didn't fucking get his dick slit, he ain't got the balls for that. If you're a real tranny, a real transsexual, cross-dresser, whatever the fuck you want to call it, get your dick slipped.
But these were past controversies, things he did in his past that were irredeemable, and no one ever thought LowTierGOD would actually improve as a person. Well, he would have a small surprise for you.
Your life is everything. You serve all purpose. You should treat yourself now.
In 2023, after being banned on multiple platforms, and after being labelled and avoided for being the most toxic streamer, he would begin to work on his brand and reinvent himself, seemingly going on his peace arc. He started filtering himself somewhat, kind of like Goku wearing a power restrainer, where instead of responding in his usual fashion, he would actually hold his tongue.
You said try the stuffed crust? Well, listen. How about when I went... No, I'm joking.
Because he learned that he was in a cycle of constantly trying to beat the trolls by empowering the trolls. But he took that away. Just not all the time.
Oh my God. Shut the fuck up, you broke ass niggas!
He actually started appearing around other streamers now. The likes of XQC and Jidion. Even actually complimenting XQC for being so honest.
Because he's literally just himself. Like,
Oh, that's nice.
this motherfucker said he chews toes. He wasn't trying to front cap or be anything different. He said, I eat gummy worms. I fucking eat McDonald's.
XQCLX.
This guy's chill.
LXQ.
And even going on Jidion's stream to accept criticism and explain why he is the way he is. Actually ending the stream on a good note. And even being invited to QT Cinderella's award show for streamers to award the best fighting game streamer. Although he did get a few boos coming out onto the stage, he surprisingly didn't go full nuclear.
Why do I hear boos? I hear a lot of boos. All right, let's step up the cheers. All right, this is a big surprise.
He also indirectly showed support for some communities, like the trans community, where he basically said no one should care if someone changes their gender.
And you motherfuckers really be astonished and blown away when somebody wants to change their gender. It should be like, you know what it should feel like when somebody wants to change their gender? It should be like you just woke up and smelled the air. Like, it should just be normal at this point.
And even recently when Brolylegs unfortunately passed away, someone he previously ridiculed for their disability, he actually gave a sincere reaction.
Contrary to what people actually believe, like, I really thought Brolylegs was talented. Even before, like, the whole 2014 rose to bullshit between us. I thought anybody that made a way to play games at his level, to play Street Fighter 4 at his level, was astronomical. It was crazy. It was a once in a lifetime thing.
People's opinion of him was somewhat changing, and more streamers wanted to actually interact with him. But was he actually changing, or was it all an act? When he was expressing his sentiment towards Brolylegs, a lot of people thought he didn't actually mean what he said. And after all he's done, doxing people, hateful comments, you can't just wipe that away by saying you've changed. But as I said, his change in behaviour was benefiting him. Until more recent controversy would come to light, somewhat setting him back.
You need to go take care of your daughter down.
My God.
She needs you.
Nigga, you blocked.
Take care of your daughter, deadbeat.
Now the most recent controversies have somewhat insubstantial evidence, so take them with a grain of salt and with the idea they could be wrong. The first one was the allegation of grooming. Once again, I've said this in my previous videos, if you are going to do a crime as a YouTuber, please, for the love of God, do tax evasion. It is so much more cooler than grooming. I don't know how many YouTubers have been exposed this year alone, but it's too much. But these allegations were sourced from people going through his past, and looking at one of his previous girlfriends from 2014, where she posted her date of birth in a now deleted Instagram post, showing that she was born in 1996. And they met in 2014 and the relationship lasted 4 years till 2018, with their relationship eventually starting in August. With people discovering when she met LowTierGOD she was still 17 and just about to turn 18. And at this time LowTierGOD would have been in his mid to late 20s. This resulted in people labelling him as a groomer, something he would address later on.
I don't know what y'all niggas are talking about, but like I said, I've been dealing with hate on the internet for 10 years now, bro. Ain't shit new. We banning everybody tonight.
Another is that he actually has a daughter he pays child support for, but wants no involvement in her life whatsoever. And even on stream, he'd say if she came to his door, he'd have a loaded gun ready.
I did not agree that you were a product of casual sex, my nigga. And I would have had the tool tucked just in case. Is there an issue? Wait, hold on, you're pulling a gun on me? Absolutely, bruh. Get the fuck off my doorstep. I did not agree to have you.
Resulting in him earning the name Deadbeat Father. Now, LTG did not respond to these claims very well, starting a stream with a peculiar appearance and somewhat disregarding all the allegations made against him with little to no evidence, and seemingly returning to his past behaviour, somewhat undoing all the improvements he had made, and empowering the trolls once again to restart the cycle.
LowTierGOD.
Now, in my opinion, even if LowTierGOD improves his reputation and actually changes his behaviour, it will still not erase the things he's done in the past, and will follow him throughout his content creator journey, and will forever be used against him by the people he labels trolls, who will use these things to try to get reaction out of him and then clip it. But I think LowTierGOD is a born entertainer. Even when he's articulating this long, phallic anecdote about spreading your mom's anal glands all over the dining room table, he's entertaining. And if he had kept just doing that instead of doxing and harassing people, and we saw more of the LowTierGOD from the Critical Times series, you'd generally have a good content creator with a similar character to Tyler 1. But as of right now, that is not LowTierGOD, and he has made a plethora of mistakes that have affected people. And he has a long way to go before he can actually fully repair his reputation, if it even is possible. But that is LowTierGOD, one of the most controversial streamers. But make sure to check on your mothers tonight, as you never know when a 6 foot tall fighting game enthusiast could be smashing in her back doors. Or committing a combo on her with a similar reaction to having her genitals electrocuted with 900 watts of power. But yeah, bye bye.